Okay, imagine this for a second. You're a coach, it's late, you're looking at game film, just trying, desperately trying to figure out how to stop this one player who just blows up everything you try to do.
Yeah, the guy who single-handedly ruins your game plan.
Exactly, the kind of player who literally keeps you up at night. A total defensive nightmare. Now flip that. Imagine waking up and finding out that guy, that absolute force, is suddenly on your team.
Oh, the relief.
Right. The relief, the excitement, the sheer potential it unlocks for everyone. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are plunging right into that exact scenario. We're talking about that huge landscape-shifting move in the NFL. The Green Bay Packers getting Micah Parsons.
Yeah, this was a big one. Really shook things up.
Absolutely. And to really get our heads around it, we've gone straight to the key players off the field. Our mission today is to unpack what Packers head coach Matt LaFleur and GM Brian Gutekunst actually said about making this happen.
We're digging into their first reactions, their strategic thinking, basically giving you the inside track on why this went down.
We're going to pull out the key bits of info about why Parsons is seen as such a game changer, how a deal this massive even gets done in pro sports, and what it could signal for the Packers moving forward.
So get ready for maybe a few aha moments about how these huge decisions get made at the highest level. It's not just about the player, it's the whole process.
It really is. And you see that process start with the immediate, almost visceral reaction from Coach LaFleur.
Pure excitement, right?
Totally. He just came right out and said it. Extremely exciting to get one of the premier players in the league. You can almost feel the weight lift off his shoulders.
Especially since he's faced him before.
Exactly. He said he's gone against him a couple of times, seen the havoc he wreaks up close, called it a nightmare to game plan for.
That's strong language from a head coach.
It is. And he mentioned the constant highlight reel plays. It's not like Parsons just flashes sometimes. It's consistent disruption. He's a problem you have to solve.
And, LaFleur shared this really interesting story that kind of gets at Parsons' underlying drive. It's from the 2021 Pro Bowl, which LaFleur actually coached.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
Well, he mentioned how, look, it's the Pro Bowl, right? A lot of guys are, let's say, preserving energy. Loafing, as LaFleur put it.
Not exactly full speed.
But he noticed one guy just wasn't wired that way. He said, except for one guy. He was trying to wreck shop out there. And guess who?
Had to be Parsons.
Yep. Micah Parsons. Even in an exhibition game, that motor was just full go. That tells you something fundamental about his competitiveness. It's just relentless.
Trying to wreck shop? I love that. It really paints a picture of his intensity, doesn't it?
It does.
And LaFleur talked more about that dominance, how Parsons makes a lot of people look really bad because he wins so fast coming off the edge.
That speed-to-power combo is just lethal.
Absolutely. And it ties right into LaFleur's bigger point about team building. You can never have enough edge rushers in this league. That's a premium position. He kept coming back to it. Parsons can wreck a game in a hurry.
He even saw it on recent tape, right?
Yeah, he mentioned watching film from a previous Packers Cowboys game just that morning and sort of grimacing, remembering how Parsons made us look silly up front on a couple of plays. He knows exactly what that feels like from the other sideline.
So now he gets to deploy that weapon himself. And you can see LaFleur already thinking strategically about how Parsons changes the entire defense.
How so? What did he highlight?
Well, he specifically said Parsons allows them to return to rushing just the front four more often.
Yeah.
That frees up linebackers, defensive backs. It just gives us a lot of flexibility.
So less need to blitz complex pressures to get heat.
Potentially, yeah. But here's where it gets really interesting, I think. He talked about the impact on Rashawn Gary.
Okay, yeah. What about Gary?
LaFleur basically said, good luck double-teaming Gary now. With Parsons on the other side, or maybe even moving around, offenses are forced to pick. Who do you commit extra resources to?
Right, you can't double everyone. Pick your poison.
Exactly. It just creates these one-on-one matchups that elite rushers thrive on. It elevates the whole defensive front. LaFleur sounded really confident the defensive staff would figure out how to put him in positions to maximize his ability.
You can almost hear the gears turning, thinking about all the ways they can use him.
No doubt. They're probably drawing up new schemes already.
And it all comes back to that personal experience for LaFleur. He was so direct. I just know from having to game plan against him that's something that keeps you up at night.
That phrase again, it really resonates.
It does.
Yeah.
Having to go against a player of his caliber, and he summed it up perfectly. There's not much he can't do. That versatility is the key.
Total multi-tool defender. Which is why the acquisition from the general manager side was seen as such a, well, unique moment.
Let's shift to that. GM Brian Gutekunst. How did he frame this?
He really hammered the rarity of it. He said, what a rare, rare, rare opportunity to get a guy of his caliber. Use of rare 3 times there isn't accidental.
No, he's emphasizing that players like Parsons just don't usually become available via trade.
Exactly. It's the kind of talent you typically only get at the very top of the draft, if you're lucky.
Right.
So when the chance arises, even if it's costly, you have to seriously consider it.
Of course, with any big move, especially involving significant assets, you gotta ask about the risks. Health is always number one. Did Gutekunst talk about Parsons' back issues?
He did address it,
Yeah.
said Parsons was undergoing the physical as they spoke, but added, we feel fairly confident that that's not a long-term problem and that it'll work through pretty quickly.
So due diligence done, and they felt comfortable with the medicals. That's crucial.
Absolutely essential. You can't make that kind of investment without that confidence. And the timing here is also pretty interesting. It wasn't a sudden thing. Gutekunst confirmed they reached out to Dallas fairly early on.
So this was in the works for a bit.
Seems like it. He mentioned having the framework of what a deal might be way before his press conference. This suggests it was a calculated pursuit, not just a reaction.
Planned aggression, maybe?
Could be. And it highlights the roles, too. LaFleur apparently joked he was just a cheerleader on the sidelines during the actual negotiations.
So Gutekunst was handling the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, though Gutekunst made sure to keep LaFleur appraised throughout. It shows that dynamic GM handles the deal-making, coach focuses on the on-field fit, but they're in communication.
Makes sense. Separate roles, shared goal. Now let's talk about the cost, because Green Bay values draft picks maybe more than any team in the league.
Oh, absolutely. Gutekunst even said, you guys know how we feel about draft picks here and how important they are to our football team? They build through the draft. That's their core philosophy.
So giving up significant draft capital, that's a major departure for them. Why do it? What was Gutekunst's rationale?
His answer tells you everything about how highly they rate Parsons. He basically said, for us to make this move, you can understand how we feel about the player.
Actions speak louder than words.
Precisely. And he doubled down. There's just not a lot of opportunities to acquire a player like this. It implies Parsons is in that tiny elite tier of players who can make you deviate from your established strategy.
The exception that proves the rule, maybe?
Something like that. The talent level is just considered that extraordinary, that transformational. It overrides the standard value calculation of picks versus player.
So is this a sign they think they're one player away from a Super Bowl? An all-in move for this year?
Gutekunst pushed back on that specific idea. He was pretty clear. This move was not just for this season, it was for multiple seasons.
Okay, so a longer view.
Right. He doesn't buy into the one player away mentality. He actually said, I felt great about our roster before this happened. I think we have a very good team.
Interesting. So it's not about fixing a perceived fatal flaw.
No, it seems more about amplifying their strengths, raising their ceiling. He framed it as adding Micah can help us reach our potential. He believes Parsons is going to add to our football team and certainly help us win football games, but it's additive, not corrective.
Enhancing the trajectory, like you said earlier, not patching a hole.
Exactly. It's about making a strong team potentially dominant.
But you know, these big trades, they aren't just about assets and potential. There's always a human side. Someone has to leave.
Yeah, and LaFleur addressed that directly regarding Kenny Clark, who went to Dallas in the deal.
What did he say? Clark was a longtime Packer, a leader.
He called it extremely bittersweet. Really emphasized that. He mentioned Clark was the last guy in the roster remaining from when LaFleur first arrived as head coach.
Wow, end of an era in a small way.
For sure.
Yeah.
And LaFleur spoke really highly of him, calling him a pro's pro, adding he was obviously a great player and even better person.
That's important context, isn't it? It grounds these huge strategic moves in the reality of team dynamics and personal relationships.
Absolutely. It reminds you that behind the trades and the analysis, these are people, and these decisions impact careers and locker rooms in profound ways. It's not just moving chess pieces.
So pulling it all together, what can someone listening take away from this whole situation just in terms of how major decisions get made?
Well, I think you see this incredible mix, right? You've got Gutekunst's strategic vision, spotting that rare chance thinking multi-year impact. Then you layer in LaFleur's tactical need, the desire for that game record, the defensive flexibility Parsons provides, solving that nightmare problem.
And the emotional intelligence piece, too.
Yes. understanding the human cost, like with Clark,
Hmm.
even while making the strategically necessary move. It really shows how top organizations have to balance the future of those precious draft picks with seizing immediate, potentially game-changing talent.
It's a high-wire act, calculated risk, recognizing opportunity, and being willing to adapt your core principles when something truly exceptional comes along.
That's a great way to put it. A master class in navigating those complex choices.
So we've really unpacked a lot here. We've seen how one player acquisition can ripple outwards, affecting coaches' sleep schedules, prompting GMs to make rare strategic gambles, and leading to those difficult, bittersweet goodbyes.
It's clear this wasn't just plugging a hole. Adding Parsons was about adding a true catalyst. Someone who changes the equation for everyone else on the field, forcing opponents to rethink everything.
Which leads to a final thought for you listening. Think about your own world, maybe your work team, your personal projects. What kind of catalyst could you introduce?
Yeah, what element could you bring in that would create that kind of immediate positive disruption? Something that forces a positive reevaluation of how everyone else operates and elevates the entire group.
Think about the havoc in a good way you want to create and the kind of flexibility and potential you want to unlock.